Some tags need the ending tag, and some tags need not have the ending tag. And what this tag is doing is, so it is performing some controlling operations or using loops, or it is performing some controlling operation using conditional statements. So let's see how you use the loops, for loops and if loops using these tags. So far, remember that in templates, in this Django template, the tags are enclosed in the curly brackets, and you'll have percentage symbol at the beginning and end of the tag. And some tags will have an ending tag, and some tags need not have an ending tag. And what is the purpose of these tags? Is nothing but it is used to create some text in the output. It is used to print something in the output. So if you see this example inside this tag, inside this block content, here in this tag, here it is, this block title tag is trying to print something or display something in a web page. So normally the tags are used to display something, create some text in the output, or sometimes it is used to control the flow by performing the loops or by using the conditional statements. So using the tags, you can print or you can display something in your web page, or you can control the flow, or you can perform the conditional operations using the tags. How do you do it? Conditional operations, you'll have if else blocks and all, and for loops you'll have for loop and all. Let's see how we use the for loop and if conditional statements in Django templates. Okay, let's see, we have seen for loops and all, for loops and if conditional statements while discussing about Python. The syntax is normally same. So here we'll have this HTML tags and Django tags. Since you cannot directly write the code line by line as you do in Python, you have to put whatever you want to display in a website, you have to put them inside tags. So in the last session, we have discussed what are the rest of the tags, HTML tags, other than what are present in the HTML template. In HTML template, you had this title tag, body tag, and all. Other than that, we have seen other HTML tags also. So this is HTML template. Here we had a header tag, title tag, meta tag, body tag, and all. Other than these, we had other HTML tags. So we have A tag, B tag, BR tag, H1 tag, OL, UL, LI tags are used for displaying the list, and A tag is used for creating a link, and H1 tag and H1 to H6 tags are used for representing the titles. So in the last session, we have discussed all these things. So if you consider this for loop, as I told you, these lists are used for displaying something on the web page. Sorry, these tags are used for displaying something on a web page, are used for controlling the flow using the loops. So this is how you write a for loop. For loop, you enclose it in curly brackets. You open and close it with the curly brackets, and you'll have. Give me So inside a for loop, so normally for in the for loop, how do you write in the Python? For I in the range of 1 to 10, something like this. If you have a list, instead of I, I'm using an athlete for athlete in the range of athlete underscore list. So here my range is list. So for the items in the list, here this loop is going to iterate the items of the list, and for each iteration, it is going to display each item inside my list. Since I am displaying a list, I am putting this inside li tag. So if you see this li tag is a HTML tag, and this for loop tag is a Django template tag. And here it is ending with opening and being in here. This entire for loop is being written inside this UL tag. And so far, remember how you write the loops, how you have to write the for loops and condition statements inside the Django template. You have to use this tags, Django template tags, and this this tags. begins with a curly brackets and ends with the curly brackets, and you'll have this percentage at the beginning and end of each tag. And since this for loop is going to display items inside the list, so I am putting this inside a list tag. So this is how you write a for loop inside this Django template. And we have if tags also. So normally, as everybody knows, if tag evaluates some condition, and if the condition is being satisfied, whatever is written inside this if block will be displayed in the output. So here, instead of condition, this if tag evaluates a variable. So how do it evaluates a variable? If variable is not empty, if the variable is existing, and if its boolean value is not false, in the sense if it is not zero, so whatever is written inside this if tag will be displayed in the output. And if you have multiple conditions, as we have discussed about multiple ifs and else block and else if blocks while discussing about Python. So if you have multiple conditions, so here you can use a else if block, and this also checks whether this if athlete underscore list. So here it is not having any condition. Here what it does is it evaluates a variable. How do it evaluates a variable? Here athlete underscore list is a list. If this list is not empty, whatever is written inside this if block is going to get displayed. So here this if block is going to display the number of athletes. So again, I have another condition. So here I'm not providing any condition. Here I'm giving a list. If this list is not empty, and again whatever is written inside this else if block will get displayed. If none of the conditions or if condition and else if conditions are not met, what are the conditions? Here I'm not writing any conditions. Here it evaluates a variable. This if tag evaluates a variable. How it evaluates a variable in the sense, here I have a list. If the variable is not empty, if it is existing and if it is not empty, or if its boolean value is not false, whatever is written inside the if inside this if block will get printed in the output or will get displayed in the output. So if and else if conditions are not met, if athlete underscore list is empty, and if athlete in underscore locker underscore room underscore list, this list is also empty, whatever is written inside this else block will be displayed in the output. So as I told you, some tags need an ending tag. So if you can see this if tag needs an ending tag. So here I'm ending this end if. If you're not ending this tag, you'll get an output and will not. So as I told you, some tags needed the ending tag. So if you're not writing it, you'll get an error in the output. So far we have seen for loops and if tags. So for loop tag also need an ending tag. If you see this, here I am beginning my for loop, and here I am giving the ending tag for my for loop. And if you see this, here I have my if tag and I am ending my if tag. So earlier we have discussed about while discussing about introduction of the tags. So normally some tags, not all the tags, some tags needs the ending tag. So far remember this if block needs an ending tag, and this for loop also needs an ending tag, end for and end if you have to write it, or else you'll get an error in the output. So you can use here I have a single condition here. This if is evaluating a single variable. If you have more than one condition, you can use multiple ifs, but also you can use the Boolean operators like this. So if you want to evaluate two things, if here my condition is if both the lists are not empty, so whatever is written inside the if block has to be printed. So here both the list has to be satisfied. Here athlete underscore list and coach underscore list, both the list must not be empty. Then only whatever is written inside this if block will get displayed in the output. So here I am using and boolean operator. Here I am using not boolean operator. Here I am using or. Here I am using not athlete underscore list or coach underscore list. Here I am using and not. So what this means is here both the lists at in the first line if athlete underscore list and coach underscore list. In the sense what this condition means is both the lists must not be empty. So then only if you see the and boolean uh, table for uncondition, if both the inputs are 1, then only it will give you output 1. For or, if one of the input is 1, it will going to give you 1 in the output. For and, both the inputs must be 1. So here, if I'm seeing the variable athlete underscore list and coach underscore list, both lists must not be empty. Then only whatever is written inside this if block will get displayed. If you see this, this is negation, not is. If athlete underscore list, if here the condition is it has to be empty, then only whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in the output or displayed in the output. Here it's or condition. So what this or condition is, so athlete underscore list, if this list is not empty or if this list is not empty, one of the list must not be empty. Both both need not be empty. So here athlete underscore list is not empty or coach underscore list is not empty. Then only it is going to present whatever is written inside this if block. Here in AND case, both lists must not be empty. In our case, any of one of the lists can be empty. So that is the difference between and or. So here my condition is if any one of the list is not empty, so whatever is written inside this if block gets displayed in the output. So here what this case is, here also any one of the list must not be empty. Any one list can be empty, but here I am using the negation. That's it. So here also in AND case I am using the negation. This is how you use and or not Boolean operators in the if conditional blocks. So if you have and or simultaneously, just like we have seen in numerical operators in Python while discussing about numerical operations in Python, we have seen something like PEMDAS, like whatever is written inside the parenthesis must be evaluated and all. So here also in Boolean operators, we have certain kind of hierarchy in the sense some things must be given highest priority when you have both kind of Boolean operators. So if you see this example, here I have and or operators. So when you have both an and clause within a same tag, and must have the higher precedence in the sense first and must be evaluated and then or. So if you have this kind of condition, first you must evaluate the and condition and then you must evaluate the or condition. So here if both the athletes or if both the lists are not empty, it is going to give 1 in the output. And since you have or condition, if one of the outputs is 1, whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in the output. If one of the conditions is 1 in the sense, here what I mean is if one of the uh, lists are not empty, one list can be empty and one list need not be empty, one list must not be empty. In AND case, both the lists must not be empty. In OR case, any one of the lists can be empty. Then it is going to give the output or it is going to display the output on the web page. So if you have, just remember if you have the and OR class simultaneously, the first highest precedence must be given to the and then you have to evaluate the OR. And you can use these operators also if tags can use this equals to, not equals to, greater than, less than operators also. So as I told you, double equals to while discussing about Python, we have seen double equals to in the sense comparison operation. So what this means is if some variable is equals to x. So what this means is some variable, whatever is stored in the sum variable must be equal to string x. So if both the contents are same, then only whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in the output. So this means that whatever is, if I'm storing a value x in some variable and I'm comparing it with x, both are same. So then only whatever is written inside this will get displayed in the output. So if I'm storing something else in some variable and if I'm doing this comparison, some variable is not equals to x. So then whatever is written inside this if block will not be getting printed in the output. And not equals to, it is nothing but a negation. So whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in the output if some variable is not equals to string x, in the sense as the name itself saying it is some variable. Inside this variable, I'm storing some string and I'm comparing that string with x. If both are not equal, then only whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in the output. In this way, you can use not equals to operator. You can use greater than, less than also. So while comparing, if some variable is less than 100, so inside some variables I'm storing value 99 and all. So 99 is less than 100. So whatever is written inside the if block will get printed in the output. So you have greater than also if some variable is greater than 0. If I'm storing a value inside some variable, and if I'm comparing it with 0, and if say for example I'm storing value 9 inside some variable, and if I'm comparing with 0, and since 9 is greater than 0, whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in the output. So you have less than equals to, greater than equals to operators also. So I'll store some value inside some variable and I'm trying to compare it with 100. And if this condition is met, whatever is written inside the condition inside this block will get printed in output. Similarly happens with greater than equals to. If some variable is greater than equals to 1, so whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in output. So far we have seen tags and filters. We have seen variables. So remember, just remember, so far remember, variables are written in double curly brackets, and when writing a variable name, you don't start with an underscore or a number. That's it is enough so far. And you have filters also. So far remember how to use a filter. You'll have this symbol, pipe symbol, and whatever is written after that, it is going to filter your variable and it is going to display something in output. And while discussing about tags, remember, in using the tags, you can use if blocks and loops, and some tags need the ending tag. If you are not ending that tag, you are going to get an error in the output. And this is how you write a for loop. So since here I am displaying a list, I am using a HTML tag li, and using the for loop, I am trying to print. I am trying to iterate the contents of my list. Since in the output it is displaying a list, so I am putting this inside the list tag. And if you observe, I am ending this with end tag. And after that, we have seen using the tags, you can have if and for loops. So here I have an if tag, and here you need not write the condition. Here I have it is evaluating a variable. In the sense how it is evaluating, here I have a list. If the list is not empty, whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in output. If I have more than one conditions, I can use else if blocks also. We have seen the syntax and how the if else blocks, else if blocks, multiple if blocks, and single else block loop works while discussing about Python. The operation, internal operation is almost same. The only difference between what you write in Python and what you write in this Django template is you are using the tags. You are enclosing the if condition inside the tags. You are enclosing it in the curly brackets, and you are writing this percentage symbol. So this means tags. This is Django tags. And here, if you see, you have this end tag. As when you compare this if else block with Python, we need not end this if block. If you are using the else block, there ends the story of this else if else block. But here we are using the tags. Using the tags, I'm writing this conditional statements. I'm using this conditional blocks. So some tags needed to end with end tag. So here I have an end tag, end if tag. And we have seen you can use the Boolean operators also in if blocks. So how do you use it? You can use and, or, and all. And how do it evaluate if both the lists are not empty? Whatever is written inside this block will get printed in the output. If you are using the or case, if one of the list is not empty, it is going to give the output. And you have the negation also. Negation in the sense if the list is empty, then whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in the output. And you can use and here we have if you have and or in a single tag, so you must give the first preference to the precedence to the and then you have to evaluate the or. and you can use equals to, greater than, less than operators also in if tags. So how do you use it? Used for comparison, double equals to used for comparison, and not equals to used for comparison again. And you have less than, greater than number. If the conditions are met, whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in the output. So what my intention is, you can have the if block. Normal we have seen the if block, and with the if tags, you can use this boolean operators also. So instead of using multiple ifs and all, so if want to evaluate two conditions simultaneously, you can use this boolean operators, and you can use these boolean operators also inside the if tags. So far, remember that, and to have in operator also. If you remember while discussing about Python, about different data types in Python, we have discussed in operator, not in operators. So you inside this if tag, you can use this in operators. So here, what is the condition is, if BC is inside this string A, B, C, D, E, F, so whatever is written inside this block will get printed in the output. So BC is a string, and BC is a set of characters, and here you have a string A, B, C, D, E, F. So if BC is inside A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in the output. And here I have hello and in greetings. Greeting is a list. If hello is present inside this list, then whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in the output. So in this way, you can use this in operator with if tags. And here you have a query set, and if user is inside this query set users, so whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in output. If you observe, each if block is ending with end if tag, and you have not in operator also, in operator and not in operator. So what does not in operator does? It's negation of in operator, and you have is operator also. So normally is operator is used for testing if two values are same or not. If some variable is true, so whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in output. So if you are inside some variable, if you are storing the boolean expression true, so some variable is true, both are equal. True is true. So whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in output. If some variable is none, if you are storing none inside the sum variable, and if you are trying to compare it with none, so both will be same. And if both are same, whatever is written inside this if block will get printed in the output. Is not so far we have seen in operators and not in operators. So we have seen is operator also. Is operator is used for testing two values are same or not. You have, so if you are using these boolean expressions equals to, double equals to, and all. If you have this kind of expression, so how do you evaluate is, you have to first evaluate the equals what is written inside the comparison operator, and then you have to evaluate the and operator. So this is a precedence, this is a preference or the priority that you have to give when you have multiple boolean operators in a single if tag. So you have to give the first preference to or and then to and. So here I have or and and. So first I need to evaluate the or, and then I have to evaluate the and. So this is a priority given when you have multiple boolean operators in a single if tag. And if you have such kind of expression, how do you evaluate it? You have to evaluate in this way. So here I am comparing if A is greater than B and B is greater than C. You cannot write like this. You have to write it in this way. If A is greater than B and B is greater than C. If you have such kind of expressions, you have to evaluate it in this way. First, you have to check A is greater than B and you have to check B is greater than C. If both the conditions are satisfied, then only whatever is written inside the block will get printed. So far in this slide, what you have to remember is what priority you have to give when you have multiple operators inside a single if tag. So first preference you have to give to or, and then to un, then to not, then to in, and then to these kind of operators. And if you have such kind of expression inside your tag, how do you interpret it? Is you have to check first if A is greater than B, and then you have to check if B is greater than C. In this way, you have to evaluate. You cannot do it simultaneously. You have to do it in this way. So far, remember, if you encounter with such kind of expressions in your if tag, you have to interpret it in this way. You cannot directly do A is greater than B, B is greater than C. You cannot directly do it in that way. And in this expression also, if you have multiple operators in a single if tag, you have to see what are the priorities you have to give, and then you have to evaluate it. Since the first priority is OR, you have to evaluate this expression, and then you have to evaluate this. So far, any doubts?
No doubt.
It's clear.
So next, so far we have seen Django templates, and we have seen inside the Django templates variables and tags, variables, filters, and tags. Inside the tags, we have discussed about the loops and conditional statements. And inside the conditional statements, we have seen how to use the Boolean operators. Now you have include tag. So this is how an include tag looks like. Normally HTML tags are enclosed in the angle brackets, and this Django tags are enclosed in the, sorry, this Django template tags are enclosed in the curly brackets. And this include tag is normally used to include some files in the current file. So if you want, you need not write the entire code. So if I have a file bar.html and I have some HTML code, and after that I have to write an other HTML code. As I told you in while discussing in the first session, unlike in Python what you do is you write the entire code in a single file. While discussing about the MBT architecture, we have seen views are written in views.py file, URLs are placed in urls.py file and all. And likewise, if you want to write the HTML code, you have to write them inside a template. So you have to create a folder called templates, and inside the template folder, you have to create another file called that ends with an extension .html, and you write your HTML code inside that file. And if you have more than one HTML file, you need not, even in while designing the web page. Normally, HTML and CSS are used for designing the web pages. So you will not write the entire HTML page in HTML code in a single page. Instead, you write them in different HTML files. And if you want to repeat the same code, you need not repeat the code. Instead, you can include the code which is written in different file using this include tag. So what this means is this is going to include this bar.html file inside your current file, inside your current template. So this is about the include tag. So normally it includes any file inside your current directory or current file. So here is an example. Uh, here what this means is this is a template name ash bar.html. Bar.html is a file name, and FOO is a template folder name. So it shows you like this ash bar.html. Here using the include, I am including this file, whatever is written inside the file. I'm including this bar.html file in the current file, in my current HTML file. So in this way, you can use another file inside your current file using this include tag. Remember, you'll use this include tags. Um, so what is the purpose of this include tag is it is used to include some other file inside your current file. So this is one of the example. So the include template underscore name. If you want to include any template, as I told you, inside a templates, you'll have HTML files. So you write the template name or HTML file name in your current file. You have to write this include at the beginning of your HTML code. So if you are including it, whatever is written inside that file is being included in the current file also. So this is about your include tag. And you have comment tags also. So normally in Python, comment tags are written in different way. So you cannot write something directly in paragraph format. Whatever you want to write, you have to put them while discussing about HTML templates. I told you whatever you want to write, you have to put them inside the tags. So you cannot write comments directly also, you have to put them inside some tag. So for that you have this comment tag. So if you see this comment tag has an ending tag. So whatever is written between this comment and end tag, it comes under the comment. Again, I told you, you cannot write the lines directly. So you have to put it inside a tag. So here I'm trying to put it inside a paragraph tag. So you can write your comment. So whatever is written in between this comment tags, it comes under a comment. So you cannot write something directly. You cannot write a line directly. You have to put it inside some other tag. So paragraph tag is normally used for displaying the paragraphs. So whatever I want to write in the comment, I'm putting it inside the comment tag, and inside it I'm using the paragraph tag to write the comment, write the description of my comment. So in this way you have include tag and comment also. Include tag is normally used for including some other file into your current file, and comment tag is for writing the comments. So as I told you, you cannot write something directly. You have to write everything inside a comments. Sorry, inside tags. So for writing the comments also, you have to put it inside the comment tag. If you see comment tag has an ending tag, and inside this I'll write my comments. You cannot write directly whatever you want to write. You have to put it inside some tag. So that is why I'm using here. I have to use some tag. I cannot use the header tag and all, body tag also. So I'm using the paragraph tag. So inside the paragraph tag, I'm writing the description of my comment. So this is a comment tag, and this is about the include tags. So for any doubts,
No doubts.
yeah, have you installed
No doubt,
Python
Nikita.
on
It's clear.
your laptops?
Yes, Nikita.
Everybody has it, right? Yeah, give me 2 minutes time. Um, we'll discuss the rest of the things. So far, we have concluded with the basics of this Django, and let's start how you build your apps practically. Give me 2 minutes. Yeah, is my voice clear to you?
Yes, Nikita.
Yeah, so far we have seen this introduction of Django, and what is the purpose of this Django Python framework. We have seen that normally HTML and CSS are used for designing static web pages. And Django allows you to write the code in Python that dynamically generates HTML and CSS. And you have seen how Django works. You have an MVT model view and template. Inside a model is used for providing a data from a database, and view is a request handler that takes the request from the user and gives the result as per the user's demand. And here you have a template. Inside a template, you will have HTML document where you write your HTML code. And model views take the data from the model, sends the data to the template. Along with the template and data, view displays the result to the user. So you have seen model views and templates. Remember, in views, you write the code, actual code. You give the function definition, and in template, you write your HTML code. And in URLs files, you have to associate your view with some URL. In views, you will write what you actually want to see in your web page. So, in order to see it in a web page, you have to associate with some URL. You have to type some URL, then only you'll see that output in a web page. So, whatever you write in the view, you have to associate with some URL. So, in urls.py file, you will have all the URLs, list of URLs that are used for that specific application. And as I told you in the earlier session, so far we have seen about the HTML template. As I told you, in templates, you will write your HTML code. This is how a template HTML template looks like. Unlike in Python, you directly cannot write all the lines. Whatever you want to write, whatever you want to display in your web page, you have to put it inside some tag. You have a header tag, title tag, body tag, paragraph tag, and all. Whatever you want to write it, you have to put it inside some tag. And these are some other HTML tags. And what is the use of this hypertext transfer protocol? Whatever the messages or requests you do in an internet, it is based on this hypertext transfer protocol. And the server returns you some output along with some status code. We have seen what the status code means. You might have an idea about this 204 error code. So along with the content request user request, it is going to return some status code. And you have seen the Django template. We have seen in the earlier case, we have seen the HTML template. Here we have seen the Django template. And here inside the Django template, we have this HTML tags also. I have discussed in the first slide itself what is the Django tag. So it is designed in such a way in order to make the already existing developers feel work comfortable with this Django templates. So normally for Django is for developing the dynamic pages. Earlier static pages were developed with HTML and CSS. So already existing developers must be using this Django template. So it is designed in such a way in order to make them feel comfortable working with this Django template. So inside this templates, you will have tags. If you see this tags, it is different from the HTML tags. In HTML tags are normally written in angle brackets. Here the tags are in curly brackets. And inside this Django template, I'm using the HTML tags. So this is the reason it is designed in such a way in order to make the already existing developers feel comfortable working with this Django template. So inside this Django template, you have HTML tags as well. And inside this inside this Django templates, you'll be having variables, filters, and tags. Tags in using the tags, you can use the loops, for loops, if loops, and all. If conditional blocks, sorry. So if you are using the if tag, you can use this Boolean operators also. And after this, we have seen the include tag. So remember, include tag must be written at the starting of your HTML page, and it is normally used for including some other file inside your current directory or inside your current file. And you have this comment tags used for writing the comments. And so as I told you in the earlier sessions, Django requires Python. If you are not installed your Python, you check in the command prompt. Here in the search bar, if you write the command prompt, So you can open this. I already have opened my command prompt. So inside the command prompt, you can check Python version using this command. Python is version. So if it is not installed, it will show you it is not available. If it is installed, it will show you the version, which version of Python you are currently using. So I'm using 3.11.2. So I need PIP Python package manager for Django, for working with Django. If you already installed the Python, the PIP package manager will be available. So if I want to check whether the PIP is available on my machine, I can do this. PIP version. If it is not available using this link, you can install the PIP also. So it is showing the PIP on there. So in output, you must get something like this. If you're not getting, you try to download it using that link. If you are installing the Python on your machine, you will have the PIP Python package manager by default. Just to make sure whether it is available or not, you check the version in your command prompt. And now you have to install Django. In this session, I'll be directly installing the Django for my entire PC. You just practice it in this way. In the last classes, if possible, I'll tell how to use the virtual environment and how to install Django only in the virtual environment, not to your entire machine. If I'm telling it in the beginning of the session, you'll get confused. You'll have this easier version. You can install the Django for your entire machine and you can start using it. If time permits, I'll discuss how to install it in the virtual environment also. So far, just see how to install Django for your entire machine. So using this command pip install Django. So if you are using this command, the Django is going to get installed for the entire machine. I have already installed it. So it is showing me already satisfied. If you are not installed, the Django is going to get installed. And in order to check whether Django is available or not, if you have already installed Django, say for example, if you have installed the Django, you just want to check, verify, cross check whether it is available for the entire machine or not. You can use this command to check which version of Django is being installed in your machine. Django hyphen admin version. So this gives you which version of Django you have currently used or currently you're using. And after that, I use this command Django hyphen admin. So what this does is this is going to give the list of commands that Django by default provides. So it is here I have given Django admin. So is this font? I mean, like, are you comfortable with this font size? Do you want me to increase the font in my command prompt?
No, ma'am, it's comfortable.
You are comfortable? If you want to enlarge it, I'll do it. If it is
No,
okay,
it's
I'll
okay.
continue.
It's
It's okay,
okay.
right? Okay. So here I have So what this command is doing, Django-admin, it is going to give the list of commands that Django by default provides you. So if you see this check dash dump, and you will be using some commands migrations. Fine, give me a second. So you have start project, start app, test server, run server, make my migrate, migrations and all. These are the commands by default the Django provides you. You'll be using all these commands, test server, sorry, run server, start project and start app, migrate and migrations for creating the tables and all. So run server is used for running the server, and start project, start app is used for starting a new project or for starting a new app inside your project. So normally in Python, what you do is you open the Python, you'll open a new file and all, you'll do it. So now you have to write this entire code in the Visual Studio. Just let's see how to install the Visual Studio. So you just type Visual Studio download. So VS Code download. This is the official website, and if you are clicking this link, so here for different OS, you'll have the different versions and all. So for Windows 8, 10, and 11, for Ubuntu, for those who are working with Ubuntu, and for if you are using the Mac OS, so you can install whatever as per your OS, you can install it. So I am using the Windows, so I have already downloaded it. If you are clicking on this, the Visual Studio will get installed in it. And what you have to do is you have to accept the terms and all. And after that, it will be visible on your desktop. So it will be visible on your desktop if you are accepting the shortcut version. So if it is not displaying in shortcut version, you can see it in the search bar also. Visual Studio, open. So I have already opened my Visual Studio. If I'm opening it, I already have some files and folders in it. So if you want to create a new file and all, you can, here you have file, edit, select, view, run, terminal, help and all. Here you have some debug and all, run and debug and all. Here you will have the list of directories, files. Here you have the list of directories and files. And if you want to create a new file or if you want to open already existing file, you can inside the file, you'll have all these options and all. So in order to create a file, I have to first create a folder. In order to start my project, I have to run this command. So where do so you can select the place where you want to store your project, entire project. I want to store it in my desktop. So CD is nothing but changing the directory. So I'm giving it desktop. So here I am on my desktop. So if you want to store it any C drive or D drive, you can do it. But here I want to store it in desktop. If I'm not giving it, if I'm not changing my directory, it will be in my C drive by default. Inside C drive users Nikita, I'll be finding my project folder. But I want to place it in my on my desktop. So I'm changing the directory. How do I do it? Using CD, change directory to desktop. So in order to create a new project, you have to use this command, Django, start project, and admin, Django-admin, start project, and give me a minute. And project name, I want to give it as lecture So, so here I'm changing my directory to the desktop, and on my desktop I'm creating a folder called lecture 2. So in here I'm starting a project, and my project name is lecture 2. It will be available in the form of folder on my desktop. Here I'm changing my desktop. Let's see whether I'm able to see it on my desktop or not. So here I have lecture 3. So here I have created my project using this command. Give me a minute. So here using this Django-admin start project lecture 2, I am creating my project. Where I am creating it, I am creating on my desktop. Once the project is being created, I must be able to see my lecture 2 folder on my desktop. Here on my desktop, I have my lecture 2 folder. And if you are opening it lecture 2 folder, I have manage.py file, and I have another folder inside it. Here I have different files, settings.py file, urls.py file and all. As I told you while discussing about the MVT model, unlike in Python, you don't write the entire code in a single file. You write different parts of your code in different files. So once I'm starting this project, by default, I'm getting all these files. In tomorrow session, let's see what all these files means and all. So for today, we have seen, we have ended the basic theory part of the Django. And if anything comes in the further sessions while we are doing it practically, we'll discuss about the theory, and we'll do the practical session simultaneously. I think so far these are sufficient. So if anything is needed, we'll add in the further sessions. So far we have seen on what basis or what is the architecture this Django is functioning, and we have seen, as you know, we are creating a web page and all, or a website. We have to use the HTML and Django templates. We have seen how the HTML and Django templates looks, and what is the syntax in Django and all, and what are the different kinds of tags are available in Django template language. And we have seen, since we are working with the Visual Studio, we have seen how to download the Visual Studio. So if you open the Visual Studio, I already had this file lecture 3 and all. So now we have created a project, right? So in the command prompt, using the command prompt, what are the first things you have to do it is, first you have to check before creating any project or any app. First you have to check whether you have Python inside your machine or not. So for that, you just try to check the version. If it is available, it will show the version. If it is not available, it will show it not identified on the machine. And PIP is a Python package manager. You must have PIP. So if you're, it comes by default with the Python. So in order to check whether the PIP Python package manager is available on this machine, you just use this command PIP version. So it is going to show you which version is available on your machine. After that, you have to install Django. So here I am trying to install Django for the entire version. So how do you install it? PIP install Django. Here I have already installed. So it is showing me the requirement already satisfied. If you are not installing, if you have not already installed, if you are installing for the first time, it will show you, it will run all the commands which are needed to be installed, which are needed for installing the Django. And after that, you can check which version of Django is available on your machine using this command Django-admin version. It will going to show you which version of Django you are currently using. And if you use you need not use this command. I am using this command just to show you what are the default commands that comes with the Django. So Django-admin, since we are using this run server, start project, start app commands, I just want to show you how I'm using it. So all these commands come with by default within the Django. So here I have start project, start app, run server, migrations, make migrations and all. These are the normal commands which use on regular basis. So that is why I'm emphasizing on these commands. If you're working with some other projects, you might use the rest of the commands. But so far, most of the times you use this command: start project, start app, run server, migrations, make migrations, and all. So I have shown you. You need not use that command Django-admin. After that, I have to create a project. So for creating a project, it's up to you where you store your project folder. So I just want to make it available on my desktop. So I'm changing the directory to the desktop. Here it is in C drive initially. So but I want to shift the directory to the current directory to the desktop. So I'm using CD desktop. It is changing my directory to the desktop. So after changing my directory, it's up to you. You will not change the directory. It will be available in your C drive or any other drive by default. But for convenience purpose, I'm storing the folder in my on my desktop. And after changing my directory to the desktop, here I want to start my project. So how do I start it is use this command Django -admin start project. So here you have start project command that is used for starting the project. So after start project, you give the name of your project. So it's up to you what you give the names. Here I am giving the lecture 2. So once I'm running this command, so since I'm storing my project on desktop I must be able to see a folder lecture 2. So lecture 2, so this means that my project is being created. And if you open this folder, by default you'll be seeing some files. So inside lecture 2, I have manage.py, and inside it I have init_py, urs.py, and settings.py files and all. These files are coming by default. And so here I have started my project. So I have to write my code in the Visual Studio. So my lecture folder is on my desktop. So open the Visual Studio. Here I already have some code. I have opened some folder and I have some files in it. So here my project name is lecture 2. I want to open my project. I want to code. I want to write my code in on my Visual Studio. So I have to write it inside that project. So I have to open that folder. So you can open that folder, open folder. So here I have on desktop lecture 2. So select folder. So I have opened my project and my Visual Studio code. So in lecture 2, you have manage.py file and other files, urls.py file, init file and all. So here I have opened my project and my Visual Studio. In the next session, we'll see what all these files mean and how to write something here to create something on a website or a web page. So far clear?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Yeah, yes, clear.
So yesterday I have shared some PPT. All these steps are written in this PPT. So for today, you try to install Visual Studio, and if Python is not installed, you try to install it. See, I'm telling you, you have to do it hands-on. Just by seeing, you'll not get anything, especially this one. So you try to install the Visual Studio, and if Python is not available also, you try to install Python and you go through all these steps, what kind of version is available, and you try to install Django also. And from tomorrow, we'll see how to do something developments on this. And that's it for today. We'll meet tomorrow at same timing. And inside that PPT, you have all those steps. And if you still have doubts, the session is being recorded. You can go through the video also. Um, so we'll meet tomorrow at same time.